do. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to. But I took the 3-year prior value, and I was interested to see, where's the prior value area of that 3 years, and that kind of falls right here, which is let's say 4600, 4610, and I would mark this up a little bit, right, with maybe 30 points up and down, because this is a massive, right, 3-year balance. So you could put something there. You could definitely change this as well to 95, right, and see where does it fall then. And you just want to make sure that you're not extending, and that's kind of like right here. So you can expect buyers to be somewhere between 47, to 46. Ideally, 4600 becomes a retest. That would be potentially a good long, because they are going to try to defend that. And this is just high level picture. We are at an important level where we bounce, right? That was our prior 2024 value area low, and very close to that prior all-time high that we just talked about, right? And maybe I thought we came very close to that level after. Maybe I thought we tapped that level at some point, but either way, if we do lose that level, you open up potentially all the way to this level where we initially bounced from. If you guys remember, I think it was 41, 45 or something like that. Like this level right here, it's doable, right? And it's not like it would just kind of go like, I lost this. I lost this level here, and now I'm just going to go all the way to value area low. There's a bunch of nodes here, right? You see this massive node where this basically run started from, guys. From this here, I mean, it ran quite a bit. And if you're in the Discord, you probably guys remember this level. So 50% from that long, where the bias was to flip kind of on the long side. And that played out for the most part, right? So now can they defend the value where they broke out of from? And that's the level, that's the area that they're defending. Another thing that I did, if this was our October low, if you guys remember from 22, I took the anchored VWAP, and you can grab this little anchored VWAP, and basically I just anchored it to the bottom of the October, right? And if you do that, you're going to get something like this blue line right here that you see. And I had one already, and that's the anchored VWAP from the October lows. That's a pretty one to carry forward, and you could do the same for the recent highs, right? If you want to have one to know what is the key level, and it falls right into the 2024 value area high and developing value area low. So if they're able to hold this level, it's not to say that we can't build a value here. Maybe we revisit, I'm trying to draw, maybe we revisit this, sweep the lows, regain it, then come back here. That's definitely possible. But this is going to be the ultimate fight, this zone right here. 4860 to all the way about, what is this, 4700. And then 4600 is do or die. I mean, that is the market most critical level that they got to kind of defend moving forward. Any questions on higher timeframes? This is really zoomed out, right? I mean, this is not for us tomorrow. This is just to give you a perspective of a long-term auction and where we stand.
That do or die level, that's the 3-year value area high?
That's correct. Yeah, that's a 3-year value area. And you do not want to, it's not a level where I'll be like, hey, let me initiate a short right here. Definitely not a level you want to mess around with the side. All right. If you guys don't have questions, I'll switch this to a weekly here. From monthly standpoint, just quickly touch base on it. Let me. So here's your monthly, right? So if this is your, your March. Why is this one showing March only? Oh, I'm sorry, April. I'm like, why did it show March? Maybe my cursor was off. This is your April value, and you see this one's much wider, obviously, than we had in March. And this was a little bit of a concern when they tried to get back in. It looked like 80%, and they got rejected and ultimately sliced down. So right now we are below the POC here at 4280. I would say, if they're able to lose this, or if they're not able to reclaim, let's say, I think it was 5320 or so, we'll come back on the lower time frames to figure it out. But ultimately, we would want them to be above this POC for now on a higher time frame. Losing this 2024 POC, I would say, guarantees us that we are at least going to go here towards the bottom of April value, right? And you can mark this here as April dev value, and you would see if the buyers step in here or not. Slightly below here, if you guys remember, we also had the 5037 level that we'll look here shortly. but that was our weekly prior week value area low that we didn't revisit. So in terms of monthly, what are we doing? Are we framing down or up?
Framing down.
Definitely framing down. You're in imbalance right now, framing down. They really need to reclaim this POC in order to test this high. But as of right now, look at the price action. They tried here, they failed here with a lot of longs, so they're trying to liquidate them. It looks like if they don't get their stuff together tomorrow, most likely we're headed to this 50.88 probably this week. Or lower, right? I would think this, to me, this looks like a poor low here. People call it double bottom, but this definitely a poor low for me. So they potentially would sweep this and fix it and then go towards our level. So in monthlies, framing down, we'll switch on the weeklies and see where we stand. So on weeklies, we go on 65 minutes, right? And this is what I was talking about. So if you guys remember, we talked about this level quite a bit. We had this level where we had the value area and the value area high. It's an important zone if you guys recall. If the bulls wanted to dance and be interested in the prior auction, right, higher, all they had to do is kind of close somewhere around here, ideally above this level, and then ultimately they would have targeted this. As of right now, it doesn't seem like they had the net new buyers interested to do that, right? So there's probably a high chance tonight that you're going to be at 52.41, this 2024 POC. They would sweep this low. If they go below it and then reclaim it, just watch out, right? Because they can find some, last year's buyers to be in a fair price, right? And they could push it. But I ultimately think that we're going to be visiting this value area low at least to this level here if we do break that 52.41. So this was our prior week value, so we'll just mark it here. So this will be interesting here, right? If they do lose that, just keep in mind that there's a high chance that you're most likely going to be interested to see how we react at this level right here at 50.34. I thought it was 50.37, but maybe it shifted for some reason. Shouldn't have. Okay, from the perspective of this profile, is there anything interesting on this profile here?
POC's higher.
POC's higher, value area high is higher, value area low shifted higher, right? Then it's definitely, I would say, an inside week, right? So this was your prior week high, prior week low. And if the bulls want to get serious, all they have to do is crack this level here, and then ultimately they are now framing up potentially on the weekly, correct? When it's an inside week, I do carry this forward just to be aware of the level, right? I would want them to crack this or the bottom, right, to break this balance that we're in right now. Ultimately, you could also look at this as almost like 2 sigs. So let's see this. So here's your, your 2-week value area high sitting here, and then 2-week value area low is at 51.40. So I'd probably mark this value area low here, and the reason why, if you guys look at this blue line, do you guys know what this means?
No.
That's just a developing value, right? So if you guys click on your PVP here, you can also click developing value. You could also do developing POC. And you can see kind of what's happening, right? At one point, POC is here. Now the POC shifted down right here. So a lot of fair price was at this point, and they shifted it lower, right? So there's a very, very high chance, guys, at least we get 51.40 and then 50.88. And this is not something that you're really looking to short once you get to these levels, right? It's going to be probably a bounce, drop, and it's going to be fairly untradeable if you ask me. But ultimately, my goal is that we get to this 50.34. Somewhere around here would be ideal. And you guys see when you have these POCs, I like to mark these horizontal lines before they spike higher as a point of retest. And that would be the area like right here that I would like them to revisit. Does that make sense? And like you see this one here also left and dropped at 5442. So it's usually a carry forward like a POC level where they're going to come back to it. And this is a virgin POC now at 5467. So this is your 2-week SIG1. Then you have the high side. I don't think we will see it unless there's some binary news that come out. We do have a lot of earnings, right? So I wouldn't be shocked that we do. Oops, I did that, but that's pretty cool. I wouldn't be shocked if any of these earnings cause some major swings in the market, right? It's a pretty high IV. This is where you can sell a lot of calls if you know the direction, make a lot of money as well, and sure somebody's profiting from it as well in this day and age where a lot of insider trading happening. So I would keep an eye on this, right? This is a big range that we're in. You're talking about 51.30 all the way to almost 400 points, right? So it's a pretty wide range. If they do come here, you want to tighten up your shorting because your reward is getting minimal. If they do come to this 34 level, let's say this week, and they lose it, regain it, watch out. Right? I think they can potentially run this forward all the way to the opposite extreme, which would be somewhere around 5,500. So careful on that. So far, so good. So we're just in a 2-week balance right now. So meaning, we rejected the prices. Oops, we rejected the prices lower for now, right? Not the best, I would say, access, and we can take a look at it here on TPO here shortly. But you'll see here weekly. Let's just go RTH. Hide these candles. So here's your weekly access on the bottom, and I would say that was pretty good. If you guys remember this price action here, was a decent bounce, and I would mark this as a weekly access, and I'm pretty sure it will be tapped at some point. Definitely an inside week, and you guys see that you have a double distribution here. Maybe this halfback will be the level that they could potentially bounce, but once you're below this 52.41, this 51.40 becomes really easy to target, just because of the magnetism between the extremes. I'm pretty certain that this will be the case that we are visiting this. So 2-week balance, double distribution, and you have a split here somewhere around 5,400. So let's call it 5404. If they're able to get this level, that would be pretty bullish for them because they're trying to trade in a top distribution. So for me, ultimately, I would want them to hold this if they want to be bullish. And of course, we're below this right now, I believe in candles. Yeah, we're way below that. We're definitely below it. So they would have to work overnight to get this up, and it's pointing more to the downside if they can get their stuff together overnight. And this looks like a poor low here. This looks like a weekly poor low. We'll check on the dailies, but this looks pretty bad. Anything else you guys notice on TPS here?
Double distribution.
They're definitely a double inside distribution, right? They're holding the value area low, which is sitting somewhere. If you guys look at this week here, 52.76 or so. They're trying to hold that, right? That would be an important level. If not, then of course I think this 50.80 and then 50.34 comes in super easy. Weekly, not much giving here. They're not giving you a lot of info. Double distribution. We're below the bottom one. That's somewhat bearish, right? Because when you have a double distribution, you can easily, of course, trend it. You believe values here, then you had a gap down, then you built value here, and now you're struggling to keep this node. Well, ultimately losing this 77 opens up the doors for a downfall here. Okay, let's take a look at it daily.
Wow, they're at 75 now.
This was our Thursday. Oh man, this was pretty funny how they did it, right? You had a top distribution, you had nice single prints here, and we talked about this the day before, And look where they built the value. Right in the single prints, right? It's not a common behavior to see in the market, but can't ignore it. See here they have. So you have the daily axis is 5296. This here, pretty sure this has to be looked at again, guys. This level here will have to be looked at again. Do you guys remember when we talked about this day here that they're going to come? I think our IBH at one point was a 5260 or something like that. 5260 was the level on IBH here. On this day, they went below it. They swept the 52, and then they had a massive bounce, right? And that was this day. But now, if you guys look at this, if they're not able to, if you think about this day here, just an inside day where you're filling in the single prints, if you can hold this, let's say, 5310 to 5300, that's going to be probably extremely, bearish below it because you're most likely going to fix this poor low. And then we're interested to see really how do they behave here. Do we find those buyers from 2024? Or if they're not there, then we know that they're going to be targeting the 2024 value area low on the longer run, right? But ultimately, this is where we want to kind of slow down on the shorting side. That makes sense?
Where do you want to slow down? I didn't see, sorry.
Same spot that I explained earlier. It would be 50.34, 50.12. Right? That's our prior week low that we were targeting last week. Right here, this zone.
Thank you.
Yes, we have a little poor low here as well.
What day is that?
April 9th. Yeah, definitely poor low here. 49.8. So got a long ways to go. It would be ideal if bulls can hold this level for us tomorrow or reclaim it overnight. You guys know why I say this? This level right here.
The single prints?
Well, it's a clear distribution, right, of value. So if they're not able to hold this, then most likely we're going to visit this 53, guys. Because we're treating this basically as a double distro, right? So if they're not able to hold this level, you're going to be here very soon. So that's my key level, I would say, tomorrow. We want to be above it. If you're not, then we're looking for short opportunities, go all the way to 52.41. Want to be careful as we approach this 52.41 because I do think they can find some net buyers. But ultimately, if they slice through this and we see the volume pick up here, if the volume picks up on the bottom when we do that, we're looking for short opportunities all the way down to 50.34. Is that fair? Everybody aligned?
There could be a bounce off that daily excess, right?
Yeah, certainly. Are you talking about this one here? The one I
No,
just marked?
the one above it, above the 2024 POC,
This one right here?
5296.
Oh, this one here, weekly, yes. Yeah, they can certainly, but I think we're below it. If they can reclaim that, that'll be good. 53.7, and they want to be. But this can be a really trappy. This right here can be for trappy guys. I'll be trading live in the morning. ton of our calendar.
I think you're cutting out.
Yeah, your mic is cutting out again. In and out.
Okay, Shorty, I can telepathically understand what you're saying right now.
Lots of
I don't
news,
think
lots
we
of
can hear
earnings.
us.
I'm not telepathic. What are you saying, Shorty? We can't hear you.
All of our favorite earnings are next week.
I
Tell
see.
there's Ivy goes up. VIX
Gotta watch them options on earnings week.
trade. Options on this week. If you do it,
And size down, right, Shorty?
can you guys hear me? Or
No,
We missed like the last
it's
3
like a
minutes.
We didn't
robot.
hear anything.
No.
what?
It's okay, I got you guys.
What about now?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. So what I was
Yep.
saying is that please don't trade earnings this week on any of the big boys. You're gonna get double slapped. You're gonna get slapped once because the IV, guys, VIX is already through the roof here. Like it's at 30 right here. You don't want to, long or short, especially the earnings that are coming up. You have Tesla, you have some big boys coming in. Intel's going to be on. Just avoid, trading any of it, right? Especially option side of it. If you guys look at the stocks above a 200-day average, go on daily here. So we got only 30% of the stocks are above the average. And if you go all the way back down, if you go on the weekly reading, right, we can go lower, right? And in May 2020, we went almost to 1%, which is, it's rare to see this. If you go back a couple of times in '08, we went and look what happened. Immediately they got bought back up. So if they do come somewhere 8, 9, anywhere low like this, typically it's a strong buy for equities, guys, especially if the VIX is going the opposite direction. It's scary, but that's the emotion manipulation they will do. A lot of people were happy buying stocks when we were here, right? They were super excited to buy here for some reason, but they're not excited to buy good companies at discounts that we're seeing right now. And if you're thinking of holding something, let's say you're thinking about holding Nike for a couple of years, maybe 10 years or so. How many of you have something in your closet that's Nike and you buy stuff from Nike? A lot of you, right? Same with Apple, right? Apple's not going anywhere. Are they going to have issues with, with their supply chain and whatnot? Yes, but they're probably the most prepared company out of all of them that we see right now. So if you find good companies, don't be afraid to pull the trigger. They do not want to compete with you. So make sure you find a decent company and that you're pulling triggers on companies that you're using, your family, friends, they're around. I'm telling you, don't be afraid. A lot of these companies, a lot of stock markets owned by a couple of companies, right? So they also have to do it strategically. Who do they hurt? So just telling you, when I buy Nike, when I buy stocks, I don't really care, right? They can right now, they would have to sign bankruptcy for me to get out. And can they go lower? Can they go 40? Certainly. I'll just add more 40. And I know not everybody can say I'll add more, right? Cash is not unlimited for me either. But if I have to go switch some other stocks, take some losses and buy better companies at better prices, I'll do that as well. So for me, stock buys are pretty long. If you guys remember, people told me I was stupid to buy Intel, AT&T at 13. Do you guys remember that? People were laughing. Oh, it's going to go bankrupt. And I said, well, who do you guys use for internet? Majority of businesses are, on AT&T. And when they swept these lows right here, I was looking for longs all the way. And when you get a company that pays good dividends, 13 bucks, and you can catch the capital gains and make 100% on it. Oh yeah, do it. And a lot of people are terrified at the lows, and they're super excited at the high prices. And to me, that's just not understanding the market and the behavior and manipulation that we're seeing. And their job is to manipulate your feelings, so that way you're not participating at the lows, but that you're participating at the long side, meaning at the high prices. And I want to bring up something that somebody brought up. I just have to figure out how. Give me 1 second. This is a pretty rare sight right here, what I'm about to show you. Do you guys see what's happening on the monthly here?
What is that? What are we looking at?
Well, there's people that know. I want people to participate. I'm not going to give it to you. Right.
The cloud?
And
Okay. Let's see how many times did this full sense show up here, like in past, what is this? Since 2012, right? There's only 2 times where full sense showed up on a monthly. Last time it showed up here, and that was in December of 2019, and we ran hard. Now it's showing up here, guys, on the monthly as well. I would caution, at like 45.65. Let's say we lose this 45.65, then I would say that's most likely going to fail. But typically, they rarely fail, right? So if they do give us 45.65, this might be a really, really good opportunity to go long. Okay. This is a quarterly bottom. So if they go to 3,700, I will switch everything to long side. I'll buy whatever I can buy at this level. But this full send here, guys, last time it ran, it ran what? 107% last time. Let's call it 100%. So, if they're to do another 100%, and I'm not saying it's always 100%, don't take that. But I'm telling you, you have to be somewhat careful here. This doesn't happen often, guys. I haven't seen it, right? You can see one time here, and did this one work out? Yes. Short here showed up, and that one worked as well. Let me see which one is this one. This one was not a high confidence full send here. It was a short side that worked out. So it hasn't really missed on the monthly. So I would just keep caution of that, not saying that you have to, do necessarily, blindly, but let's say they revisit this monthly bottom at 47.90. I promise to you, you do not want to short this level. You do not want to short this level. This is actually a high probability setup right now. It's a monthly full send, so I would not be super excited to short this. They're going to bite, and they're going to trap a lot of people here in this area. Keep an eye on it. If they lose this, let's say, 45.72-ish, if they lose that, then, this failed. And of course, there's a possibility it fails. I'm not saying it can't. And then you're looking at 3,700. That would be fairly quick. But right now, this is triggered. And I wouldn't be surprised if they send it back one more time, trap the shorts, and then all the tariffs get dropped.
Wow.
And this has only happened 3 times in the last 13 years, the full send. So on monthlies. So just something to caution, right? It doesn't happen very often.
Not a bad place to load up.
I would load up at 47 to 4,600.
Shorty, I had a question about being careful about earnings. Those take place typically before and after market, right? Or
Typically after, right? There are some that happen AM right before. But those that happen before, I don't know where you guys work and your workplace, but there's a lot of people trying to stay ahead of other companies. So let's say I am Boeing, right? I want to report. If I have good news, I want to report before Airbus. Why is that? Why would I want to report before Airbus?
I'm not sure.
So if I'm Boeing and I know my numbers beat, right? The CEOs, CFOs, they know that, right, in advance. And the reason why they would push to report in advance is in case Airbus has bad news and Boeing reports after, what happens to Boeing stock?
It already plummeted associated with Airbus.
That's exactly right. It's a sympathy fall, and CFOs hate that, right? I've been in some calls, earnings calls in my life, where companies and their financial processes are so bad that they report not even in sync with the sector that they're in. They're actually reporting out of the sector. Let's say you're a fintech company and you're reporting with textile companies. Like, what the hell is the correlation? So the companies try to watch that, right? So you want to pay attention to the sympathy, right? And when you're playing earnings, it's not something that I would advise for anyone to play options, not even shares. If you're already in a decent position and you're building for long term, sure. But to add options this week, you're gonna be. I mean, the coin is really against you. It's not even 50-50 at this point. You're gonna lose. Sure. Can somebody have a banger play 30,000% on something? Yeah. And that's how they get you. Like, oh my God, if I would have just put $1,000, I would have made $1 million. Then you go put 1,000% on something like Tesla and it doesn't move at all. Guess who makes money? It's the dealers, right? The locals make money because the IV is what they control. And they just slice the IV, and then people that have iron condors are the one that win. And to anticipate that during this volatile season, I would not advise it. I need to play that.
What about if you're just trading futures? Like, how do you trade with caution? Do you just watch for the hours that they're gonna
Yeah.
release?
Well, I would just watch. I would trade the active hours, meaning I would watch the settling, let's say 10 o'clock to 11. If you make money, great. Then trade from 2:30 to 4, and that's it. Don't be watching after hours trying to catch a move on the earnings from big boys, because it can NQ can move 100 points with no liquidity and stop losses, and the lag is going to be there. The slippage is going to be present. So not something I would be like, hey, I want to be long or short too heavily there, especially when the Ivy is not in your favorite at all this week. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's not something. If you want to put $100 and close your eyes with something, sure, but just know that goes to zero. High chance it goes to zero.
Makes sense. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. I'll trade in the morning. I'll bring up my toss as well, just in some moments, because these levels right now on the clouds itself are going to be fairly important, guys. So I'll be sharing this a little bit more tomorrow, just so I can bring you guys up to speed and give you a little bit more knowledge about the clouds, especially if you guys are looking for, I would say, investment on a long term. That's all I do is the cloud levels, and I search them specifically to be at the monthly bottoms, and that's where we bounced last time on ES as well. So
Hey, Shorty, somebody wants to know about the SPY levels. Can you look at them or no?
one easy way to look at them is here. I give you SPY. SPY level, I mean, 520 to 519 is a big level for SPY. That's going to be the 2024 POC as well. And if you're to go on SPY POC, you're probably going to be there as well. Below this, right, you're looking more, and you have to enable this little thingy here to go more levels. There's a number of levels here. You can change it to like 150. Bunch of purple lines here. And then you see the 510 is going to be huge. That's the 2-week SIG 1 that we talked about. And then below that, we're targeting somewhere, what is this, 498 to 497 on SPY. That's a level where you really want to be tightening up your short position. If we arrive here, do not be adding shorts here. And I'll post my chart here so you guys can actually look at the levels tomorrow. Is that good? I'll write up
Thank you.
I'll write up something in Shorty's corner for SPY. Just have to look at it on actual SPY ticker too. But I will do the same analysis on SPY, right? So I will do start from scratch. Look at that PVP, TPO for a moment. So here's your 12-month, go on daily. And same thing here, right? So if you go on SPY, this is your 2024 value area low. And God, where it bounced. I think it was actually a perfect bounce there. Yeah, I mean, almost to a penny there. And the POC is sitting right here. So it's not a level that you want to be very short as we arrive at 514. If they get back up here, right? If they do get up above 543, you want to be really, really careful because they're most likely going to run it to the 24 value area high, and this is going to be the fight, right? So ultimately, the bulls on the higher time frames, they want to go above this. If they're above this, guys, then you know if this gets cracked, we're going new all-time highs. I would say probably really, really high chance for them. Yeah. And then if you do the same process, right? You go here and go change it to 1 month. You can see, what's in play for SPY. So losing, let's say tomorrow we crack above this POC that's developing, even though the month's not done, you have the developing value area low all the way at 496. And I think we said 500 to like 497 was a zone to be careful, which matches on the SPY, right? It's a pretty good level. And if you scroll back and look to the left, that was a prior all-time high somewhere sitting here at 478. This is the imbalance value area low at 473. So they could run a trap on SPY. Like right here, if you crack this, they could run a trap all the way to about 472 and then offer a bounce. I would keep an eye on this level here if they decide to go lower. Somewhere around here, 472.95. This is going to be a very, very important zone for them. Okay. All right, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early. Hopefully we can be done earlier than sitting and waiting for all the earnings.
Thanks,
See
Shorty.
you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks. Good night.
Thank you.